A happy Sunday to you. Welcome to my corner of the stream. I'm Lori Pinson. Welcome to Lori's Stories. Now, for today, I am honored to have with us one of the Karens. You saw the dog rescue story that we did earlier this week. We had Chantel on a couple of weeks ago. Now I want to welcome Melanie Thomas in, visiting us early this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, Melanie.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I had to have you come in because we've had such a response to just our visit out with you. I guess it would be the best thing for me to say. I mean, we started out, this was a picture of a pup that was there. You guys sprang into action. Kind of walk me through the day, and is this a normal day for you?
This is a very normal day for us. We get several calls, concerned citizens, a neighbor's dog down the street. So we go and we try to make contact with the owner, and sometimes most of the time they just need a little bit of assistance, a dog house.
I remember
food.
when we knocked on this person's door, he was like, I don't have a dog. And you're like, there's a dog chained up to the generator.
Yeah.
Does that happen often, or that they see you there? Well, obviously they saw us there with the Fox 2 truck, but they're like, I don't know anything about this.
Right, or it's a roommate's dog, or it's like, hey, we're just here to help. We're not here to judge. We just want to make the life of the dog better.
So this particular dog had fly strike on his ears. How common is that in the summertime? And can you explain what that is?
It's very common. The flies they're attracted to the ear. So many will be biting that it will, cause an open wound,
right.
which then attracts more flies. Sometimes, they lay
Eggs in there.
eggs,
yeah.
and
How uncomfortable is that for the dog?
It's very uncomfortable. It's a constant, it's just a constant biting, and you're trying to get the flies off. So, I mean, the cream works fantastic. We do use fly spray as well, which is very effective.
That dog seemed very thankful for it. I know as we were planning to go to the next place, you were like, we could just pop up anywhere. And then we see 3 dogs at this location. Tell me about this.
This is a regular house that I would frequent every week just to check on the animals.
In waste.
Yeah, make sure that, they weren't collecting more animals. The owner, would find strays and bring them home, and, he always called for help, so.
But did he fancy himself to be a dog rescuer?
I think he does a little bit.
Okay. This is us begging him to sell the dog, and he chose not to. But this was something that he had done in the past, right? You guys had purchased a dog from him, and he'd just go out and get another one?
Correct, yep.
All right, I remember this particular house. It looked like Party Central, and you went around the back to knock on the door. Look, they had air conditioning units, and looked like somebody, and then we hear one of the trucks or something running, and it sounded like somebody may have actually been on site, but this poor German Shepherd could only find relief by sitting underneath the truck.
Right. And, obviously they're doing home improvements, or they're flipping the home. A lot of workers will put a large dog on the property to protect their tools, vehicles, trucks, things like that.
But this dog had nothing. I mean, he
Correct.
didn't have anything to drink or eat, so it was awesome that you guys. Now we almost picked that cat up.
Yeah,
thinking it was
and that
stray.
cat was old.
I was like, what a beautiful cat! And then across the street, they're like, hey, that's my cat. And this was momentous here. House number 500.
Yep.
Tell me why that was.
That's huge. That's 500 houses that we've given out to better the lives of, that one animal, that one dog. So that is.
Were you surprised that it was 500 at that point?
Yes.
And this is 500 since you guys formed. You formed in 2021, or?
Correct. In October of 2021, we started with doghouse number 1, and here we are.
Now here we were taking a walk down into the unknown, and I remember you said, "There's dogs coming! Run, run, run!" And there we were.
I saw them moving quick. So,
but that happens. People ask me, "Do they just walk up like that?" And how dangerous is that? Is that something that you guys do?
Usually there's some kind of debris or something, that a piece of wood that we'll pick up and use as a shield, just in case a dog doesn't come out wiggling its butt like that.
yeah, that we were lucky, because honestly, I fell. That dog would have got me. I run it just like in a horror movie. I just tripped over my own feet and just kissed the ground. Now this is Andre, homeless, but the thing that stuck with me about this is that you said his dogs were better taken care of than anybody else's dogs that we had seen that day.
Correct. I mean,
did that surprise you?
Not really. I mean, I'm usually, the homeless community, their pets are very well taken care of, and it's like either they're going to eat or the dog's going to eat or they're eating the same food. So it's, it doesn't take much to take care of your animal. The resources are out there. Google anything, Detroit Rescues, anything, if you need help, it's the resources are there.
Is that what's frustrating? One of the things that's frustrating about going out and trying to, these are the aftermath of some of the dogs that you saw, just that maybe people don't know what's available for them.
I do feel that way. Yeah. People, they don't know, if you're not in the rescue world or community, you don't really know that those resources are out there. We started out by making a flyer and we'd get a call. Neighbors would come out. Oh, you help with dog food. I didn't even know these programs existed, and here we are now, 500 dog houses later. So I mean, it's Well,
you make it sound simple. I mean, we know you as you are today, 4 years later. What made you decide to start? Where did you work originally?
I worked at Detroit Animal Care and Control for almost 7 years as an ACO there. And I would always keep supplies and dog houses, tie outs, anything on my truck to keep those animals out of the shelter. So that's where it started for me. Because the shelter was, it's overcrowded. They're euthanizing for space. And that's one thing
that
I
be heartbreaking
yeah.
when you see that there might not be anything wrong with the dog other than they're homeless or they were surrendered or just abandoned, and they're going to kill them, basically. Mm-hmm. So we talked just a little bit, and we can explore this if you want. You're no longer with Detroit Animal Control. Maybe you had a little bit too much compassion
I think so.
to be working there. Absolutely.
That's a good way to put it.
Yes, yes. But in a way, we're fortunate because then you went ahead and you helped form the Karens, and that has helped so many people. This summer, you said you were taking a little bit of a break, but you're out there, and it's when we were out there with you, the heat index, a combination of heat and humidity, was approaching 100 degrees. And you see these dogs out there, and they have no water, no food. How do you keep your emotions in check? What do you, or are you just like, I got a job to do, I got to do my thing, I just got to help them?
And that's part of it is, you want to help. And it is frustrating, when, it is 100 degrees and dogs, it's give the dog water. Like, heat stroke is real. I've seen it, dozens of times. That's heartbreaking. And when all it takes is a bowl of water to keep your dog cool down, shade, anything like that. So,
we've had many comments on this particular story. And when you just now said that about heat stroke, one viewer wrote me and said that her dog suddenly passed away from heat stroke. She was not one that chained him or whatever. The dog, I guess it was a small dog, passed away. And she was hoping that you could tell us, what are the symptoms of heat stroke? Is there a particular time when you should just know to bring your dog in? Is it based on how long their fur is? What can you tell me about that?
There's a lot of factors. It definitely is on the breed of the animal. The signs are heavy panting. The dog will become lateral because dogs don't sweat like we do. So that panting that's an outlet for them. So if you notice heavy breathing, heavy panting, that's a sign. You need to, bring the dog in, make sure the dog has water, shade. You can do a cold, or not a cold, but a damp towel. You don't want to
notice that they're panting, then this is the time to do something.
You don't want to just throw the hose on them. You want to slowly bring that temperature down with like a damp towel.
That's really good, because most folks would just have at it with the hose and spray them That's just awful. Are you surprised though at the number of, I know you said at one point you were working in Macomb County and now when you go out with the Karens, it's mostly in Wayne County. Are you surprised by how many animals are neglected or abandoned and what do you think about that? I mean, it just seems unending.
It,
How do you deal with that?
it does. And it's frustrating when you reach out to, the authorities and you get nowhere. We're not employed by the city of Detroit. We really don't have any authority other than, our approach and helping these dogs one by one. But it is frustrating. It feels like there's no punishment for the crimes. So it's a vicious cycle and it just keeps going and going.
I think that's one of the main things and frustration that, we read about the comments when people actually see the story or call in. Why don't you just take the dog? They ask. Can you explain why?
State of Michigan, dogs are considered property. You're stealing. So, in the ordinance, it is, exigent circumstances. So if we feel like a dog is not going to survive that 24 hours, that's a risk that we will take.
You're willing to take.
Yes.
And some of the dogs that you do rescue, are they dogs then that you've got permission from the owner to take? Or is it, like you said, the circumstances where you feel like that dog, or from the pictures of the kitten that you sent me earlier this week, they're just not going to make it if you don't take them?
Right. And a lot of our cases, we do obtain an owner surrender, so that protects us legally. Sometimes it's a matter of, the owner can't afford the medical. So, for the sake of the animal, they will owner surrender. And sometimes, we'll do the medical and we'll give the dog back. Depends on our feeling on how well the animal is taken care of. A lot of people don't have $3,000 for a surgery, and we understand that. So we have a platform, we can raise that money. And, if we feel like you're a deserving, loving owner, we'll do that medical, and we have given the dog back.
Well, I know that one of the dogs that we saw, Diesel, was a dog that you guys had done some or paid for the surgery on his leg. And it was a good thing that you did that. Unfortunately, he ended back up, was with the young man who was imbibing early in the morning, I'll put it that way. But that story does come full circle and has a better ending to it. We're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back on the other side of the break, we're going to talk about what's happened since we last saw you. So stay with us.